Terminology of every field of science experiences change, like addition of new terms, modification of definition of some existing terms, and elimination of obsolete terms. It is important to be familiar with up-to-date terminology and avoid usage of obsolete terms causing ambiguities, inconsistencies, or errors. In the case of chemistry, publications by International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry or IUPAC provide definitions and recommendations for chemical terms, including obsolete terms, whose usage is discouraged. In IUPAC's Gold Book with the title Compendium of Chemical Terminology, published on the 24th of February 2014, from about 7,000 considered terms, about 150 terms are mentioned as obsolete. From these about 150 obsolete terms, 10 terms related to stereochemistry are chosen to be discussed here as 10 obsolete terms in stereochemistry. In alphabetical order, here our first obsolete term is antipodes. IUPAC considers antipodes and also optical antipodes as obsolete synonyms for enantiomers and strongly discourages usage of them. In other words, in the case of a pair of molecular entities that are non-superposable mirror images of each other, we should use enantiomers and not antipodes or optical antipodes. The second obsolete term here is cissoid conformation. IUPAC strongly discourages usage of cissoid conformation and also transoid conformation. Although IUPAC mentions that the terms cissoid and transoid as stereo descriptors are used to describe the stereochemistry of fused ring systems. Instead of cissoid conformation and transoid conformation, IUPAC considers S-cis and S-trans, where the spatial arrangement of two conjugated double bonds about the intervening single bond is described as S-cis if synperplanar and S-trans if antiperplanar. As the third obsolete case, we have the prefixes D, L, and DL in lowercase. IUPAC strongly discourages usage of D, L, and DL in lowercase and considers them as obsolete alternatives for respectively the prefixes plus, minus, and plus minus, where the prefixes plus and minus are used to designate the sign of optical rotation of enantiomers under specified condition and hence to distinguish the enantiomers. And the prefix plus minus is used for a racemate. On the other hand, this is not the case for D, L, and DL in uppercase, which are used in Fischer-Yosinoff convention, especially in the case of alpha amino acids and sugars. Our fourth obsolete term is dissymmetry. IUPAC considers dissymmetry in stereochemistry as an obsolescent synonym for chirality, where chirality is the geometric property of a rigid object or spatial arrangement of points or atoms of being non-superposable on its mirror image. Our fifth obsolete term is external compensation. IUPAC strongly discourages usage of external compensation for the absence of optical activity in a racemate, where a racemate is an equimolar mixture of a pair of enantiomers. Similarly, IUPAC strongly discourages usage of internal compensation for the absence of optical activity in a mesocompound, where mesocompound is a term for the achiral members of a set of distereoisomers which also includes one or more chiral members. As the sixth obsolete term, we have geometric isomerism. IUPAC strongly discourages usage of geometric isomerism and considers it as an obsolete synonym for cis-trans isomerism, where cis-trans isomers are stereoisomeric olefins, cycloalkanes, or heteroanalogues which differ in the position of atoms or groups relative to a reference plane. In this regard, in the cis isomer, the atoms or groups are on the same side, while in the trans isomer, they are on opposite sides. Our seventh obsolete term is homochiral, acting as enantiopure. IUPAC strongly discourages use of homochiral as a synonym for enantiopure, where enantiopure or enantiomerically pure is used for a sample whose molecules all have the same chirality sense within limits of detection. Not mentioned in IUPAC's Gold Book, homochiral is also used to describe molecular entities with same stereochemical configuration. For example, almost all natural amino acids are homochiral since almost all of them are L-stereoisomers. Our eighth obsolete term is optical isomers. IUPAC strongly discourages usage of optical isomers and considers it as an obsolescent synonym for stereoisomers with different optical properties which should be described as diastereoisomers or enantiomers. Our ninth obsolete term is optically layby. IUPAC strongly discourages usage of optically layby as a term describing a system in which stereoisomerization results in a change of optical rotation with time. Our 10th obsolete term is rhythmic mixture. IUPAC strongly discourages usage of rhythmic mixture and considers it confusing since it has been used as a synonym for both racemate and rhythmic conglomerate, where racemate is an equimolar mixture of a pair of enantiomers, while rhythmic conglomerate is an equimolar mechanical mixture of crystals, each one of which contains only one of the two enantiomers present in a racemate.